imagined it before. I felt it. I conceived it. You can feel things like these in the same way you can feel a sculpture. Bruno Zevi used to say that architecture is a sculpture inhabited by people. A sculpture with lights and shades. It's made of volume, of spaces. It needs to be experienced from the inside. The people who enter must experience the place they enter into. You need to enter architecture. How do you feel architecture? I believe it consists in the diversity of experience, of knowledge. An individual must gain knowledge, and even more knowledge to be assimilated and carried within yourself before expressing anything. Then you must add something of yourself. That something that belongs to yourself can be something new. I've seen architecture, light and people. These are the three elements that I deem to be essential. Human beings and history, the understanding of human space and divine space, the bond with the earth, one's own language as the soul of a place. Imola is a fascinating model of a city. Established in Roman times, Imola became the object of an urban utopia when the town's walls were expanded in the early Middle Ages. It was a feud of the Sforza family of Milan. The Sforzas sent Leonardo da Vinci to Imola, where he designed a unique example of urban layout. During the Renaissance, many palazzi, gates and churches were built, giving the town a touch of elegance and introducing the dimension of living with others. The squares were a place of political, religious and commercial exchange, as well as an inhabited space with churches and public buildings opening on them. The town and city planning developed by addressing the changing needs as time went by. The central role played by the historical part of town, with its hierarchy of places, with clear proportions existing between monuments and the urban fabric, is now contrasted by the new central role, played by peripheral areas. The new Monte Rico neighborhood binds together the social and religious dimensions. A large open space builds on the Renaissance concept, by which civic and religious authority could meet and face one another in a square. This effort adds to this mainly residential context, an opportunity for reinterpreting the old town, for rediscovering a moment of aggregation and worship. The Church of San Francesco is a unique and significant edifice beyond compare. The author of these forms, imbued with a combative idealism, is Luciano Ravaglia, an architect, engineer and challenging innovator, as well as a student and companion of Bruno Zevi and Giovanni Michelucci, undisputed masters of Italian design. The idea of the boat comes from the Gospels in St. Peter, the fishing boats, but also from the first churches built by St. Patrick in Ireland. The church is a huge ark on water, a shape built on a large shell of laminated wood with double curved ribs that rise up to a height of 30 meters, covered with sheets of copper fastened with clamps. The structure is reminiscent of the spirit of the Gospels and St. Patrick's early churches in Ireland, where the fishermen would turn over their boats for shelter from the cold and storms. I then laid it on an expanse of water to recall that it's born from the sea. Among other things, water is also a Christian symbol. Caught between reason and passion, architecture here gives a new meaning to the new urban fabric located outside the town's historical centre. It's a fluid and lavish building that invites you not only to see it, but also to walk through it with your mind and legs, to understand it, to comprehend it. The body meets the spirit. This place of worship is born from an act of understanding. This place is so evocative that people immediately have a feeling of closeness despite the huge size of the space.